Alright, so guys, welcome back to Rydeus-The channel. Welcome to video 18 in the Freedom series. Now, we promised a video every day of the month for August, and we promised a video every day for the month of August. Today is the 18th of August and we're on video 18, so we are up to date. In today's video, we want to talk about goal setting, and I know we did a video on goal setting and you should check that video out, setting smart goals. But it's important that we have that discussion now, because in the last video in the Freedom series, or in the last few videos, we talked about identifying the gap between where we are and where we prefer to be. We talked in terms of our life's conditions versus our mental blueprint, and goal setting is an effective means of bridging the gap between where we are and where we prefer to be. When we say goal setting, we're actually talking about identifying those activities or those measures we must implement or those steps we must take to bridge the gap between the future desired state that we want and what's going on in our life at present. In this video, we want to talk about the types of goals. We want to talk about the time frames in relation to goals, and we want to talk about the SMART method of setting goals. In terms of types of goals, we could talk about two types: outcome goals and process goals. Essentially, outcome goals are, as the name implies, a future desired outcome that we're after, or future desired state of affairs that we would like to have. So we could set outcome goals in terms of our spiritual well-being, our physical well-being, our intellectual well-being, our emotional well-being. We could think of the way we would like the future to be in any one of those dimensions. In this video, we are talking about outcome goals from the perspective of financial well-being. And there's also process goals. Process goals are the means by which outcome goals are achieved. Those steps that we must take, those actions in which we must engage to allow for a future desired state the way we want it to be. So outcome goals are future desired state, process goals means by which. And we could talk about goals in the short term, the medium term, and the long term. Short term might be a week to perhaps a year. The medium term might be a year to perhaps a couple of years. And the long term would be a few years down the road or later on in life. Now, an effective method of setting our goals is the SMART method. And SMART is not a synonym for intelligent in this context. It's actually an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. When we say specific, we mean that our goal must be precise, it must be unambiguous, it must be clear. There must be a level of exactness with our goals. For example, if I say my goal is to put on weight, what if I put on 20 pounds of fat? And would I be satisfied? Is that my goal? And perhaps the answer to that is no. So I must be specific. My goal is to put on 20 pounds of muscles. Let's say that. Our goal must also be measurable. There must be an element of measurability, an objectively quantifiable indicator, an objectively verifiable value. If I say my goal is to put on weight, and I put on 1 pound or 2 pounds, would I be satisfied? My goal is to put on 20 pounds of muscle. There's this figure, there's this value that could be quantified and verified. And when we're setting our goals, we must have that level of measurability with our goals. The A stands for attainable, and our goals must be things that we can take action given the context to achieve. We must be able to take the kinds of actions that we must be predisposed to take the kind of action. For example, if I say my goal is to put on 20 pounds of muscles, but I have maybe a disability or a medical condition that would not allow me to go to the gym and do resistance training with heavy weights, or progressively increasing the resistance, I'm not able to do that, then it's not a goal that I can achieve. It's not attainable. Our goal must also be realistic. And that's what the R is for in the word SMART. Realistic means there must be a level of reasonableness to our goals. We can't set goals outside the realm of reason. For example, if I say my goal is to put on 20 pounds of muscle by tomorrow, that's unreasonable. It's like they would probably think that you have some aspect of craziness to you. Your goal must be reasonable. And the T stands for time bound. We must set goals with specific time frames in mind. So I can't say my goal is to put on 20 pounds of muscle, and then in 5 years time you see me and I have not put on the 20 pounds of muscle, and I say, well, I didn't say when. So we must have a time frame. My goal is to put on 20 pounds of muscles within the next 6 months. That time frame allows us to be efficient within the particular frame or period that we've identified, as opposed to just procrastinating and putting things off unnecessarily. So the time frame, the time element allows us that level of discipline, if we want to call it that. So in today's video, we wanted to talk about goal setting, and goal setting against the backdrop of our financial well-being. In the next video, I will be challenging you to identify clear outcome goals, clear process goals, and to use the SMART method of identifying that future desired state in relation to your financial well-being. See you in the next video.